First item is ArtLife presentation from Sybille Welter.
Good morning. Sybille Welter, Minister of Public Art and Culture. I'm here to present what happened in this last year. I am titling it A Year of Uncertainty and Change. So, the program is governed by an ordinance and an ArtLife WPB 5-year Public Art Master Plan. We exist to shape how public art is imagined, seen, and experienced throughout the city's neighborhoods and shared common spaces. ArtLife is implemented by city staff, as well as an art committee that advises City Commission on all aspects of public art. We have 7 members and 2 alternates. They're appointed by the mayor. They either live or work in the city. 3 minimum of the members must have an art background. So, a year of uncertainty and change. This year's 2020-21 annual report highlights the ArtLife's program's projects, initiatives, and accomplishments during one of the most challenging years and provides City Commission a review of the public art program's achievements. In March of 2020, our world changed to a time of uncertainty and fear. During this time, it became necessary to rethink public art's capacity, reach, and impact within our common spaces. The challenge the public art program faced was how to continue to integrate art into our commons with positive effect during a pandemic. Further, monumental shifts in our society occurred, bringing up vital conversation around rights, equity, and identity. Questions arose about the role artists, through their practice, can play in creating opportunities to make a difference, and these questions continue to inform our community. An immediate effect of the shutdown was that virtually and physically the public realm became an integral space to experience, communicate, and observe art. The diverse projects produced, implemented, and approved during this time demonstrate the program's strength in bringing direct art experiences to the public and the positive effect that can occur when integrating art into our public spaces, even during tumultuous times. So, an accomplished year. During this time, we produced and implemented 10 public art projects and oversaw 4 private development projects. We adopted the Public Art Master Plan. We adopted a 5-year Public Art Master Plan. We branded what used to be formerly known as AIPP into ArtLife WPB. We created a GIS map with the public art throughout the city, which continues to be updated. We completed a restoration and conservation survey of the entire collection. We documented the entire public art collection. We created new ArtLife WPB pages. We started the restoration and cleaning and the maintenance of the city's public art began. And I have to say that I got a lovely phone call from the MLK committee thanking me for taking the time and due diligence to clean MLK, the bust, and which was really nice to get a thank you call. And then the investment of public and private to enhance our public spaces was over $2.3 million. So, city-initiated projects. I'm going to start off with the Commons, which was our 15 artists, 15 spaces. Let me get out of this real quick. That was the initiating during the pandemic. And that is when the city was giving support to all the businesses, local businesses. The art program gave support to our local artists. So this is a documentary, this is a preview of a documentary that is now completed, and it is about 22 minutes.
This is a documentary about a COVID relief initiative offered to artists by the city of West Palm Beach in 2020. It's called The Commons, 15 Artists, 15 Spaces, providing public locations around the city and funding for temporary art displays in order for creators to share their personal perspectives on the COVID-19 pandemic. My submission was a video piece about the ups and downs of my life during COVID and quarantine. I was selected as one of the artists, and we decided that my public art contribution would be this documentary. My project was to capture the 14 Commons artists, their projects before, during, and after completion. I started filming in October of 2020. With what began as a very isolated and unsettling year for me, I now had a reason to visit all the unique locations, to connect with 14 creators I'd never met before, and work alongside Sybille Welter, the admin of Public Art and Culture in West Palm Beach. I got to see our artistic community in a new light, as well as the importance of public spaces, public art, and public funding. The Commons Initiative really made us all feel seen and appreciated by the city we live in. It gave us a reason and the means to create while many of us had lost our inspiration and sources of income. Places for our art to be seen while the galleries were closed. A reason to connect with new people and make new friends and collaborators as our regular social constructs had unraveled. I'm thankful I was chosen to participate, that I had a reason to create this piece and meet all the artists, their friends and families, see their studios, learn more about them and their work. I hope you were able to see the installations in person while they were up. If not, you can visit them here whenever you like. I'm excited to see what we all do next. I hope you are too. Thank you.
So it gives you a glimpse of what turned out to be a 22 documentary of the Commons Project, and the next steps is to find a way to preview the piece and bring in all the 15 artists that were participants of that. So going back to where I was. There's going to be a couple of videos because that is the best way for me to demonstrate the strength of this program. So there was the Commons, we did energy, we did natural beauty, which Anthony Burks right now is almost done with production, and so in the new year we should see that in the 500 block. The historic heart and soul with the VECO one with Mass and Nomads. And let me show you a quick Facebook Live that lives there. Give me 1 second to make it big. And let's bring some volume up.
Welter, Administrator of Public Art and Culture for the City of West Palm Beach, and today we are here at the city's newest park, the Heart and Soul Park in the Northwest Historic Neighborhood. And I'm here with artist Ilya Mercado, who has been commissioned to put beautiful art into the Heart and Soul Park. And we're going to interview him today. He's going to talk us about what he was thinking, how he engaged the community, and the tile work and the images that they came up with, and his counterparts as well. You'll introduce them as well. So, I'm going to give it to you.
Hi, so my name is Ilya Mercado, as Sybille mentioned. I'm here with Santi and Patricia, and they're part of our team, and then we're here making this park a little bit beautiful. So,
you want to tell us about the kind of tile and what the process is? We have a young gentleman here working.
yeah, so Odo's part of our team, and this is hand-cut glass tiles, mosaic tiles. So this is gonna last for a while. They will never fade. And yeah, so this is the name of the park, obviously, Heart and Soul. And we're gonna be putting a bunch of music inspired and some of the people from the community, some of the founding members of the community, and we're gonna put them all over the park.
So let's walk over there because there's another gentleman who's working on the process, and I think as a medium, a lot of people don't know a lot about tile work. And if you can walk us through, because you guys have chosen really vibrant colors as well, if you can just kind of share your thoughts of the imagery and how you wanted that vibrancy, and then also show us what exactly he's doing.
Yeah, so we picked super vibrant colors because we wanted the park to really stand out. When we first saw the benches, they were really gray, and we wanted kind of to reflect the vibe and the energy of the musicians and the community. So we wanted the park to really stand out, so that's why we chose the colors. And right now he's putting on a thin set to kind of hold down the tiles. So the thin set is going to hold down the glass tiles. And then after that, we're gonna come back with and grout it. We're just gonna seal it from the rain, and then after that, we're gonna put another sealer on top to protect it from any water and extreme weather.
And this one is gonna be Nat King Cole, correct?
Correct.
Right. And who do we have working?
It's my uncle Vertilio. He's one of the masterminds behind the whole thing. Like, he helped us a lot. He's actually been doing this his whole life, doing letter work. So once we got the project, we got involved in the project, I reached out to him and told him what we had going on. And he was super eager to jump on the project and helping. He's being one of the main helping hands behind the project.
Yeah,
along with,
main
media.
installer. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's walk over to Ray Charles. And can you tell the audience some of the key individuals, musicians, and members that we're going to see at Heart and Soul?
Yeah, we can do that. So right here, we have so right here we got Ray Charles. If you wanna come back this way, can we see it? We have Ray Charles, and I kind of want to capture the whole energy, like I mentioned before. So we have the lightning bolts coming in his palms, like he was shouting, hey, something like that. So yeah, and see Patty wants to introduce some of the people that we're gonna have installing as well.
Yeah, so basically when we were coming up with a concept, we sent out a survey basically to the community to find out what they wanted to see in the park. And we got a lot of responses, everything from some of the artists that performed at the Sunset Lounge, which included Ray Charles, Ike and Tina, Ella Fitzgerald, James Brown, Fats Waller, and some of the greats. And then we also looked into the history of the community, people like Gren Cherry, Alice Mickens, and several other landmark figures that
Stark
really
family.
made, the Stark family, that really made the historic community so vibrant and unique. So on each bench you're going to see a featured person, either that or a theme surrounding it, such as music or jazz, making sure that there's a story told, and not just beautiful artwork, but there's a story behind each piece. So.
Wow. Great.
And when do you anticipate finishing up, in the new year?
Yeah, so we're aiming for mid-January.
Okay.
Mid-January, so this is going to be complete wrap.
All right, wonderful. You guys, thank you so much for taking the time. So come out now, you can see them working, or come out later and see the new artwork at the historic Heart and Soul Park. Brought to you by ArtLife WPB in partnership with the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of West Palm Beach.
So the artist has met a lot of community members who have come about, and after this Facebook Live went, they've had a lot of visits from people who don't live in the neighborhood who came out specifically to see the artwork, because tile work is a very different thing, and I think people appreciate it a lot, and so that was really neat to do. We had sun salutations in Sunset Park. HCD is getting some artwork. Metamorphosis, another local artist, Michelle Drummond, for the library. Her piece should be ready in February. We have Flora, Daniel Barojas. That was that partnership with FP&L. And he amazingly put that together in less than 30 days. And I will tell you that is an achievement, considering the size of this thing.
West Palm Beach, I'm Sybille Welter. I'm the Administrator of Public Art and Culture for the city. And with me today is Daniel Barojas.
Hello, everyone.
He is an artist from Florida who was commissioned to do this wonderful project that you see behind you, a giant, large-scale mural. This is coming through you through the City of West Palm Beach's ArtLife and in partnership with Florida Power and Light. And so it's a great entry point into the city downtown corridor. And we're gonna talk to Daniel about what his thoughts are when he was doing this project, and have him walk us through this magnificent piece. So Daniel?
Hi, everyone. How you doing? My name is Daniel Barojas. I'm originally from Mexico City. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida currently. This is a beautiful mural that I've been working on tirelessly for several weeks now. The theme of it is Florida Flora. It features various different plant life from throughout Florida. Each of the plant lives are grouped into different groups of green, and so each of those tones form like a subsection that is then shaded apart to create depth. In addition to that, we have a pattern that goes all throughout the mural. This is the stencil pattern based on palms, and then these interlace into each other. They're each applied individually throughout the entire wall.
So can you walk us through your colored blocks and your color choices? And
so the
it's a very
center
vibrant-
area here that has the young sapling, this symbolizes new life and new beginnings. So from here you have a radiating circle gradient in sunset colors that's spread out throughout the piece. And you can see that coming here from the orange to the red, blue, down there and further. Here up top you can see some of the groupings in two of the different green tones. Each one of these has different shading to them to set them apart. And as you can see, we're still working.
So all these Facebook Lives that I do with the communications department exist in our Facebook page, and I did one for each of the 15 artists during the Commons, and they're just a really different way to interview an artist and get to know their practice, but also to learn about the media, because a lot of people don't. And so I'm not going to go and walk you through each one, but you get the gist. So we had 18 local artists that we were able to commission, 3 regional artists and 1 internationally renowned artist. And this was a commission with Brian Wood, a local artist with the CRA. This is on our 300 block. Natural Beauty with Anthony Burks, another local artist. As I said before, he's in production and should be installing by the new year. And this was our big one. This is Materials SG2 by Yinka Shanabari at CBE. This was our first public and private partnership, and it happened with related companies at 360 Rosemary. It's a piece that a day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't tell me how amazing it is to see it there, and how it just brings a vibrancy to the city. This piece is one that you approved last year, and it's actually, I just caught it 2 days ago. It's being installed right now. It should be done in a few weeks. They need to put lighting and paint it and finish the installment of it, but it sits down at 695 South Olive, so if you're driving by there. This Carolyn Salas is the one for the private program for Casa Mara. And this is the Mercer Park Apartments. This is another artist who worked really quickly. My photos don't do it justice. If you do get a chance to go out there, you should. The way his palette works is really interesting. And as I said, my photos don't do it justice. And then this one, for Ben Leon for the 345 Banyan. He's in production right now. Once the building is up, they're looking at late spring that we will see the orchids. So during the Public Art Master Plan, there's a set of accomplishments, 1, 2 to 3, up to 5 years. And so far, we've been able to update the criteria, document all the public art, make that GIS map, inventory the public art collection, start the conservation and maintenance schedule. Ongoing, we still intend to implement temporary projects in order to get a better understanding of the needs and desires of the community. We encourage and sustain cross-departmental collaborations. We're still marketing ArtLife WPB, and we will continue to collaborate with our cultural institutions, organizations, and the private sector on our public art projects. So looking ahead, what we have is, for commissions that are coming up, another Heart and Soul commission. This is under contract right now with Nikisha Durrett, an artist from DC, who came out and was able to meet the community. We went with Dr. Nguyen as well as Gina Baker, and over a 2-day span. And so she understood a lot more about the community, their desires. She heard a lot of stories, which was great. South Olive Park, it is the racquetball wall that is east-facing towards Olive. Artist Jill Hotchkiss presented to the community, and her contract is being developed. So we'll commission her to do a piece, not a mural. She's going to do something different. She might integrate mural-ish things, but we'll see what she comes up with. And then we have a 1-day public art event with another artist, local artist Gregory Durr, and this is one that Utilities and Public Works and Sustainability came to the public art program and said, we want to bring awareness to our stormwater inlets, bring that awareness of the importance that whatever goes down there goes right back into us. And so what we've done is we've identified key stormlit water inlets in Clematis Street, and that'll be the pilot program. The lead artist will design something, and then it's community driven. He's going to do almost like a paint by number, And it's a one-day event, and working with all these departments, it's a lot of logistics in the background, but I think what will be produced will be really dynamic. Northwood Village, the CRA, has requested some public art that would be integrated throughout the city, and I am researching artists right now. And looking ahead, it's Game Parks and Curry Park for our commissions. Coming soon, the private development sector. In the next coming years, this is really going to be a huge focus for the city. As far as public art goes, we have a tremendous amount of private development going on, and the ones that you see here have already said and put in their public art assessment application that they will be integrating art onto their site. And there you have it, ArtLife. Thank you for your continued support, and I'm happy to entertain questions. I can walk you through our process if you'd like, from beginning to end, or answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Sybille. A couple of observations. One is I like the Facebook Live, the videos. I think it's nice to be able to hear from the artists themselves as to what their thought process is. I continue to be amazed by that side of the brain. I can't remember if it's the left side or right side, where creativity is, because I don't have that. And so to actually hear from the artists, the amount of thought that goes into how they do what they do is quite informative. Second, through ArtLife, I know from conversations that I've had with companies, individuals who have moved here recently or looking to move here, West Palm Beach is establishing a reputation as a very art-friendly, my words, not theirs, community. And it's through in no small part to the program that you're heading. So, and it's throughout our city. Yeah, and I think that is part of what makes our city so unique, is the different offerings of art, public art that are available. So kudos, keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioners, Commissioner Shove.
Thank you, and thank you to Sybille and the ArtLife Committee and everyone involved in this process. I know you take a lot of time and dedication to the great artwork that's throughout our city. And I think my question goes to the great job you're doing, in that there is a popularity of neighborhoods, et cetera, wanting to have art within their communities. Could you talk a little bit about the process? I know specifically in the North End, we had a great community engagement that got the mangoes at 36th Street. And I know there's been other requests from communities to say, how do we voice the desire to have art throughout our community? Sunset Park, which I know you had on your list there too, great community engagement process, et cetera. How would neighbors be able to come out and support and help to get art into their local community?
So I'll use Sunset Park. I got phone calls saying, is this feasible? We'd love to see a public art piece in the park. I said I would get back to them because, the decision has to be based also on other departments and the feasibility of that. So on that one, it was Parks and Recreation. Leah and her team were more than willing to do it. And then it goes down again to these logistics. You go to the site. I bring usually utilities, engineering. You have to look at the site and say, okay, can we really do something here? Or are we going into infrastructure that we're not supposed to? And once we got those sort of like, I call them the black and white of the public art program, I went back to the community and I said, I'm going to bring it to my ArtLife committee, presented it to them. The ArtLife committee, we had a discussion about funding and what that piece would look like. And for this one, they said a sculpture, which was appropriate for the park. And then it was determined by the ArtLife committee that they wanted to do a regional call to artists. And so we did that, and we received countless applications, and they narrowed it down to 3. Those 3 did proposals. Of those 3, this is one where the community, though they could not vote, they could be vocal, and they could say, this is why I think this artist sort of fits what we're trying to do. And, I see this artist practice going in the flow of what we desire in our community. And The ArtLife committee takes that into consideration, and then it was Vito De Bari who was selected, and he was tremendous to work with as well. And that one also exists. There's a video for him too. And then the rest is, going through the process of funding, then approval, then your approval, and then the contract, and then it just goes on and on.
Thank you. And I guess so to summarize, first, you look at feasibility
Always.
from your perspective,
Always.
publicly owned land, unless there's some sort of private partnership being brought to the table, and then consideration taken to the ArtLife committee as to how they would like to see that fit within the art master plan, et cetera.
Correct.
So it would all start with that one request. Over to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Commissioner Fox.
Thank you so much for this presentation. I guess my question is to jump off of what Commissioner Schoaf was asking. I was also wondering, how are we incorporating all neighborhoods in our city, whether or not one of the neighbors comes to us first? I mean, are there things that we're doing to look for spaces to make sure and ensure that we have ArtLife represented throughout the city? I notice a lot of things downtown, which is great for me. I love walking around and seeing everything, but I know that a lot of people might not be watching this and know that they have to call us to suggest a spot. So are there other ways that we're just taking it into consideration ourselves to find spots?
So it also falls into the public's, like I put Gaines Park in there because Gaines Park will inevitably be, we'll have art going into it because they're doing a whole new building, and so we'll integrate art into that. So sometimes it's about what projects are happening in the city, and we try to integrate that art component into the city. So that's one way to look at how to equitable distribution of art throughout the city is just something's happening already. Let's see if we can integrate that art piece in there. And then the other one, as I said, if sometimes communities have called and they're like, we want it in a roundabout. And I'm like, oh, that's not, let's rethink this whole thing. So it comes down to having a conversation and open dialogue and see what they're really looking for and how that fits into the ordinance, how that fits into the public art master plan, and, does it achieve the mission and the goals so that the community gets what they desire. It is part of the public art master plan. So, and then I just keep looking. It's really about looking like, okay, here, like the south end, we've done things in the north end, we've done things sort of on the outer extensions of downtown, and now we're going towards the south, and, just little by little, like these incremental steps.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Warren?
Sybille, can you talk about the plan, or if it's in the plan for the Western communities, for art and
I have to tell you that a few years ago, no, more than a few years ago, I went out there and they were not too sure. So now it's about looking at their space. So one of the things is you have to look at common spaces, you have to look at public spaces and the feasibility of that. Otherwise it becomes, if you can't congregate in a public space, if it's gated, we can't go in. Anything that's gated, we're not allowed in. So it's time to take a look. I'm happy to do so and see where it would fit.
Okay. Anything else? Well, thank you for that presentation. It was very
welcome.
informative. And at some point, Sybille, can you give us an idea of an accounting fiscal report, how much we have in?
Oh, yes, I submitted that in the receive and file, and I have it here.
Okay.
I can give it to you really quick. I can just give you quick numbers, but I did the receive and file right before the end of the fiscal year, as I do every year for this. And so the expenditures in for the ArtLife was $485,000. The private sector was $1.7 million. The CRA was $170,000. And between all of us, it was over $2.3 million in investment.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.